Live. What's up, world?
Hey.
Hi.
It's your boy Tyrone Morgan. I'm here to you tonight with another episode of the Soul Rehab Podcast.
Yay!
Woo! We in the building.
The trio is back.
She finally come out of she like Jordan. She come out of retirement and she's back. She gonna drop 45 points on us tonight.
I don't know about that.
Okay. or maybe 4 or 5 good points. How about
Okay,
that?
yeah, I might get 4 or 5. Anything that don't require me to do a lot of running, I got.
You got 1 point.
Yes.
Now we're gonna let you coach tonight. Don't worry, I am gonna be Kobe tonight. I am shooting a bunch of shots tonight.
Okay,
Don't worry about it. I got you.
I want his anniversary.
Kobe.
So
what was it?
no,
Birthday?
Kobe. Huh?
What was it? Birthday something? A couple days ago?
Yeah, sometime maybe last week. I don't know. I ain't a Kobe fan. I just know he shoot. I know he shoot a lot, so that's what I'm gonna do tonight.
All right.
We're accustomed to that, but all right.
Really? I couldn't tell, but anyhow. So tonight, our topic is signs of a season. This is something I was reading a book called Times of a Gift by I think his name was Brian Meadows. It's a great book, and I still ain't finished it. I got to get back in it. But he was just in the book. He was just talking about having times for a gift, and it's like during this times, if you have a gift and God wants to use you now, it's your time for your gift. And so while I was reading, it kind of inspired me about thinking about seasons. And so one of the things that's super important that I don't think we realize as we go through life, we go through seasons. And I think if we learn to recognize the signs of them seasons, we will be a lot better off. And sometimes we will not be as have as much anxiety as we do about certain things. So we're gonna hold on, but I ain't even did my intro for y'all. I don't forgot all, but I told y'all with Kobe tonight I'm shooting.
You were ready.
I was sitting there like, and I thought about it, I said I ain't even introduced them yet. How about that? I told you. I'm sorry, that's how Kobe is. He's all, hey, Kobe was shooting.
Focus.
So anyway, yeah, no doubt. The mumble mentality is here tonight. But anyhow, so first we're gonna do. I don't even know if I normally do her first, but she's back. We've missed her. We love her, and we're glad she is with us tonight. None other than the fervent servant, Miss Anisha Dawson. Woo! Let's go. She is back.
I hope you're all well.
She's in the building. 3 times the trouble tonight.
Oh gosh.
Just remember that.
If you say so.
And we have the voice of reason tonight. She thinks that dry hay that she's known for. We're gonna when we get on real TV and you do that, I'm still gonna say the same thing.
Bless the hay, Lord. Oh, bless the hay.
She is gonna keep us on track tonight, which is gonna be very hard because I am one of the speakers tonight. But anyhow, we're going to turn this thing over to her and we're going to let her do what she do so I can do what I do.
All right. I'm so excited. We're all back together. And it's just a different energy when we're all here together.
No doubt.
I'm just so excited to have you back, Anisha.
Thank you for having me back.
Where were you? Well, of course, we were going to have you back.
How we gonna have a podcast without the third person? What?
Okay. All right. So we're going to kick it off again. We're going to be talking about the times of seasons and signs of seasons. And so we're going to begin by talking about what is your favorite season.
I can start. I think my favorite season is probably summer, and that's just simply because I'm talking about seasons. I'm a beach girl. Like I like the beach, a pool, a lake. I prefer a pool or a lake. I like the warmth, not too hot, but I like the warmth of summer. Just does something about getting that vitamin D on my skin, you know. Summer will be my favorite, and I'm gonna follow up with fall just because of I get to wear my sneakers and my Tims and my jeans t-shirts in the fall time. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. And you definitely are a water person, so I could see that. But I am fall all day long. Fall is my favorite season. It has some of my favorite colors. I like to see the leaves churning. I like the smells of the fall. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. That's one of the holidays that when I was younger, that most of our family would come around and we would see them. Thanksgiving was my mother's favorite holiday as well. I also like growing up, you know, how you did the hay rides and the pumpkin carnivals, the fairs, but I like the weather. Summer doesn't agree with my illness or the weather, the hot temperatures. So I really love the weather. Sometimes you can wear a lightweight jacket to you can wear some boots and a heavy jacket. I'm not going to say that I don't like the seasons, but fall is definitely my favorite season. I also like cold weather. So I lived in Alaska, if many people didn't know. So I like cold weather. Not necessarily having to shovel snow, but I prefer cold weather over hot weather. And I like the mountains versus the beach.
So is it my turn?
It is. Yes.
So that is my favorite season is fall, and it's because my birthday is in fall. Woo!
Yes. Next month.
Matter of fact, next month, my birthday. So I love fall, and so with being born in fall, which it was a little bit different when I was younger, because now it seems to be a hair woman than what it used to be when we was coming up.
Absolutely.
But you know, it was right at the change of the season. So you could, during the day you had, you were able to dress up, a little cooler. But then in the night you can throw on a little jacket or a sweater or something, and you'll be right. So you had the best of both worlds of me. And fall is my favorite because usually that's the start of the season where the families start to get together, the leaves start to change colors. I love the colors of fall. Even though my favorite color is blue, but I just love to see the seasons change, and I'd rather see it change going dormant than I do. I ain't a big spring person because I just don't. Spring is full of bugs, and I worked outside, and I know when
Alex,
I suffer in the spring. No, thank you. Hives every day.
So spring brings me into my least favorite season, which is summer, because I work outside and it'd be 1,000 degrees. And then when fall comes in, it let me know that summer's going out, so I can deal with that. But I would say fall for the colors. I like the beach family wise, but if I had to pick a vacation, it'd be the mountains because I can sit and drink coffee and enjoy the scenery. And that's what I like. Because really with me, some people vacations is doing. Mine is relaxing because I'm always doing. So I like to go somewhere to relax. And the kids love the beach, so they'll do what they do and I still can relax. So I get the best of both worlds with that.
Yeah, that's good. And I know this is off topic, but I was just thinking because you said something about the weather. And the summertime now, it seems like it's hotter than when we were growing up as children. I mean, it's like sometimes you could just barely stand the heat. Do y'all or disagree? Because it seems like when we were children, we played outside all day and it was okay. But now probably stand out there for 10, 15 minutes.
I'm going to say this. I didn't play outside. My mom would tell you, Anisha didn't like the outside. So I don't know how I got to the beach and the pool and the lake stuff, but outside in the neighborhood, I wasn't doing that. But my sister and I were just talking about yesterday, we were just talking about the difference in Eastern North Carolina and where we are in the Western region.
Right.
Like, it was 96 degrees yesterday and it was hot here. Don't get me wrong. But in Eastern North Carolina, that's a different kind of hot.
Mhm.
And we just had that conversation. Like, it's crazy how hot it really is. Like, we were talking about remembering being younger and seeing the steam come off the heat, rise off the asphalt.
Right.
That's hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely a different type of heat now.
Yeah, I think so. And of that, well, I give two more reasons. I'm getting older, or I've been air conditioned. And I think it's the latter. Yeah, I've been air conditioned because we know they used to kick us outside, especially boys. You ain't sitting up in the house. You better go outside and play. We get something to eat before the game shows come on. Grandma kicking us out. We come back home. We eat. We got time to eat because you can't go back in till Bob Barker go off. Got to watch Price is Right, and then you got 30 minutes to eat from 12 to 12:30. So when Victor got on, everybody had to be out of the house. So it's just one of them things. But oh man, what happened?
You went away.
I know.
Talk about what happened.
Oh, I'm back.
All right, Kobe. He's back. All right, so we're getting ready to start. Our first question is going to be, what are seasons? What are seasons?
So you want me to start off? You want me to kick it off? Okay, so I'm fine. So I looked up seasons, and seasons, they are times. I look up seasons because seasons are things that we go through, we experience. They natural, right? We have them. And I think, if I ain't mistaken, they was based on something with the sun, cycle of the sun. Mm-hmm. So seasons are something that we all experience. And so what you have to realize about seasons is we're talking about seasons of signs of a season of our lives. So I want to make sure I get that right, so I can get myself back on track. But they are times in our lives that specific things happen to us to help us mature. That's what I think signs of a seasons in life are. I think they are specific things that happen to us that help us mature. I know we've all been through things at different times, and we seem like sometimes it seems like it's unexpected. But what I started finding out about mine, they was always signs that something was getting ready to change. And most of the time I never would pay attention to them. I would just keep on moving. But then it felt like it's a slap in the face. And when I go back in retrospect and start looking at them things, they really was some signs, or we would say red flag, that was showing me something was getting ready to happen. But I was not paying any attention because I just wanted to keep doing what I was doing. So I think we have to make sure that when we're talking about seasons of life, I think they're just like the seasons that happen in nature.
I agree. I don't have anything to add to that. That sums it up perfectly for me.
Okay. All right. So the question was, what are seasons? And again, we're talking about like the seasons of our lives. We know that there are 4 natural seasons. We have fall, it's often called autumn, winter, spring, and summer. But we're talking about seasons that happen in our life, or on our life's journey. So the next question I'm going to ask is, why do we need to recognize seasons? Why do we need to recognize seasons?
I'm gonna go with that. So the biggest thing to me about recognizing seasons is if you're able to recognize, you're able to prepare better.
Yes.
So I think we go through seasons unprepared and we experience things. Man, this thing right here, if I ain't having a time today.
Get it together.
Look, I'm so worried about shooting. I ain't even worried about nothing else. So anyway, but I think it's well, it's a little ratchet tonight, but that get the point. But anyway, I think because I'm gonna base it off my experience. Why I think I need to recognize seasons, because if I'm able to recognize them, I'm able to prepare. And with anything that we go through, we need to be prepared to go through them. And so in your preparation, you know what's coming. So like, I'll give you an example so you know what I'm talking about. So I was maybe sometime earlier this year, maybe late last year, I was in a season. I was beginning to get frustrated with the things that I was doing. I was going through a level of frustration and I really couldn't never kick it. And sometimes it would be like, why am I frustrated? But I just was. And I started noticing that it was like sometimes even when I wasn't busy, it just always felt like I was frustrated. And I'm just, man, I don't know what that is. But what I found out is that it was time for me to shift into a different season. When we'll get into the season a little bit later, but if you recognize that you getting into the season, you get prepared. Frustration, anxiety sometimes, even depression sometimes, stuff like that are signs that you're getting ready to go into a season, which I don't want to get too deep into it because once we start talking about the seasons, we kind of understand that. But if you're able to recognize it, you can prepare your mind. There are things that you can do to get prepared to go into the next season. Like, for example, if you are going into a season and you in a harvest season, which is fall, and we'll get to that in a second. But if you're getting ready to go on fall, you need to prepare for the harvest, whatever it is. You should have been going through something that or you should have been through something that you worked through, and you're going to receive a harvest for it. So you have to prepare. For example, I've been working on a business model in this season of, getting ready to prepare for harvest. And so it's one of them things you prepare. So when it's time, when God opened that door, you ready to go to whatever season that he is. And he ain't got to drag you kicking and screaming, and you not going to feel like it's a slap in the face and you didn't know what was coming.
I think that's really good. And as you were saying that, I was thinking about how in the fall, animals begin to gather food for preparation for the winter. They take that in there and what is it? For hibernation. And then, that during that time, some of the animals' fur, it gets thicker. So it's actual visual signs that we could see with our natural eyes that seasons are getting ready to change. You begin to see the birds begin to migrate to warmer places. And as you were saying that, just as I think sometimes, like, just as well in the natural, God gives us physical signs. I think when our seasons are changing, he also gives us signs. But like you said, we don't always pay attention to those flags. And I think with every season, you have a positive and you also have a negative. Every season that you go through, there's always going to be something positive and something negative. So as you were saying, the emotions of frustration, a lot of times we look at that as a negative thing, but sometimes we could look at, well, we need to evaluate, well, why was I frustrated, and work emotions. And I think sometimes we don't work through those emotions. But did you have anything else to add to that, Alicia?
I do not.
Okay. Why do we need to recognize seasons? That was the question. And I feel like this is similar. How do we recognize the seasons? How do we recognize the seasons of our lives?
So go ahead.
Do we recognize seasons and kind of like to kind of put where, because I feel like you should know where you're at, what season you're at in life. So if we're able to recognize that season, we're able to say, hey, this might be my harvest season. This might be spring season. This might be my winter season where, everything kind of looks dead. Nothing looks like it's nourishing. But how do we recognize those signs? And I'll start off.
Go ahead.
But I do believe how we recognize those signs or those seasons is we really have to have a relationship with God and to really be in tune with ourselves, to know ourselves. A lot of times we don't pay attention to our own self. So we're just going through life, but we don't really know ourselves. And I guess that goes back to your identity thing. We don't, we're not paying attention to ourselves, and we don't have a relationship with God. If you're communing with God, if you're reading the word, you're praying and you're listening to him, a lot of times we miss the voice of God because we think it's going to come in we don't know how to recognize his voice. So when we're missing opportunities where he wants to talk to us and reign with us.
All right. That's good. So in my notes, I put down there, I think there's 3 ways you recognize and that'll help you recognize seasons. And the 3 ways is, I believe every season has signs, which is like emotional storms or weather. So, that's a sign. Temperament change is kind of like temperature change when you go through the season. And then you have the things around you start to change. So your climate conditions change. So I think those things are how you start noticing the outward and the inward feelings. And so I want to hit on emotional, and I want to kind of read off this because I don't want to miss nothing. So your emotional is the weather. It's like the weather. You can tell your season by the weather. Hot could be angry. Warm could be loving. Cold could be distant. Or cool could be comfortable. Also, hot could be you at your best. You warm. It means that you feel good where you at. Cool could mean, and that goes back to it have negative and positive meaning. But cool could mean I'm starting to lose interest. Or cold could be I'm distant on and with purpose. So I'm distant on purpose. Also lets us make sure that it can seem like we experience every season in all in one day. However, a season, that's what I want to make sure I clarify that, because sometimes we feel like we're going through all the seasons at one time. But what I really call a season is an extended period of time that the reoccurring seasonal trends happen to you that we just talked about. It ain't just because I think we fluctuate different stuff, but some seasons is something that consistently happens within us. And so your emotions, we have different kind of storms. You got thunderstorms, you got tornadoes, hurricanes, you got snow and ice. And so in them storms, they could be, thunderstorm could be, it can be somebody passing. Even that can even be a tornado. It can turn your life upside down. You got the snow and ice when stuff, it seems to always be going wrong in your life. That could be a cold season. So we have to recognize these emotional storms and compare them just like you would mostly hear about them on the news, on the weather channels. We have to be able to recognize them things. So we start going through them. Like if you go through a death is a big change in some people's lives. And we have to recognize our emotions in that season, because you can be in a season and death won't be just a storm. It might be flipping you into another season and just instead of a storm. So we have to recognize the emotions. So that's one big thing to recognize what season you is. Temperament changes, or what I consider the temperature, meaning that the way we think or feel about things, our basic perspectives. So I think each season has a different temperament, and in them temperaments, like depending with some of us is different, but Anisha's summer was her favorite season. And so in summer, it brings joy to her. And so she knows her temperament. She probably, even if she not feeling great, but she's in the summer, maybe that makes her feel better because it's just summer. And the same thing, maybe she might be experiencing some of the same thing, but it'd be winter and it makes her feel different. So our temperament is our person's attitude and how it affects what we do or say. It's our mode of emotional response. So that's what I want to say about temperament. And our environment is our climate conditions in which follow the season. It could be a people bring environment. People or a place brings environment, or things bring environment. Again, like we were talking about Adele. That can change the climate conditions of the person. So really a lot of this stuff is dealing with your internal and external. And so when you start like people moving in and out of your life, that's environment change. God shifting you to a different group of people. That's an environment change. And so, you know, if you used to being around your family and you ain't around them no more, God calling you into an alone season, which we'll get into a little bit later, but calling you to a alone season, them are seasonal, them environmental change. They change the climate of the person that's experiencing that stuff. And sometimes if we aren't paying attention to the shift, it can cause us to be all over the place and not understand what we're going through and feel like we've been forsaken. And so to be able to recognize the seasons through them three things: emotional changes, temperament changes, and environment change. I think that's how we start paying it. That's how we notice what season we're in.
That's good.
Give me 1 minute, guys. I gotta step away.
Okay, you're fine.
When you were talking about the emotional, you put it in I like the way you put it in the term of emotional storms.
Mm-hmm.
And put it in emotional storms. I thought about on the weather, when we watch the weather, and there's a storm, there's a tornado, there's a hurricane. They always put it in a category.
Right.
Like category 1, category 2. But it tells you how harsh it is going to be or how much the damage is going to be. And when you said the emotional, because sometimes we're at different categories or different levels of emotions. You know, sometimes our emotions are pretty okay, and then some emotions are just off the chart, off the wall. So when you were saying that, it immediately made me think of those storms and put it in, you know, because if they say it's a hurricane 3 or a hurricane 4, we really fear, you know, because we're thinking loss of life, or, you know. But I think we could categorize sometimes, you know, because if I think in my life, there was some times I've been in my emotions that I almost thought I was going to be taken out of here. You know, I was just so much in my feelings, you know.
Right.
So that was really good. And of course, I like what you said, that alone season. If you are a believer, there's always going to come a alone season when God wants you to be with him. And sometimes, because there's a lot of people, I don't have a problem being alone, but there's a lot of people that need to be in a crowd or always need to be with people. And sometimes you can miss what God is trying to pour into you if it's your alone season and you're still trying to tag along with the crowd. That was good to me.
So let me just piggyback off what I just heard you say about the alone season. And I'm going to take it right on into the seasons itself.
Okay.
So for that, I always think winter, because winter is the time of the year that, other than maybe Christmas, we don't, I don't, but a lot of families don't really get together. Once we get to Christmas, there's not a lot of gatherings. There's not a lot of festivities. I mean, not from my experience. Right. So right now for me, I think I'm in winter in my life. A lot of things have changed, environment, people, and I spend a lot of time by myself. There are days that I don't even see other people, and I live with people, but I don't see people. There are days that I only talk to my coworkers. So that can take a toll on you. I'm not a person that has to have contact with people all the time, but everybody needs some kind of contact at some point with people. But the other thing for me is that when I am going through, I'm a natural withdrawer because I don't like to lay my stuff on other people. That's the part of the season that I need to do better with.
All right.
I need to do better with reaching out, knowing I know what season I'm in. I know why I'm in it. I know this is the part that I'm supposed to lay down all this stuff and send all this stuff to the grave, you might as well say, because that's what winter becomes, is the graveyard. So I know that, but I need to do better with reaching out so that I can prepare for the harvest that's coming in the fall. I think my seasons go backwards. Like it never just feels like.
It doesn't have to go in order.
Yeah, we think, but I'm saying, as humans, we think fall, winter, spring, summer, but that is not how life goes. That's just not how it goes. So yeah, right now I'm definitely in my winter season. I do believe.
Yeah.
I like what you said, that but this goes back to us, and I think one day we're going to get it. I know we keep saying we're going to talk about spiritual gifts, but what I just heard you was saying about and that's part of that mercy gift. If you ever carry the gift of mercy, you hate to put yourself out on other people, because you're always the one extending to yourself. But it's all, I love the self-reflection that you were able to realize what season you are and some ways that you're able to moving forward to do better. And they always say, when you know better, you do better.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we have to come to that acknowledgement, but I like that.
Yeah. And I will say this about, so I think you, as a Christian, you go through more than one alone season. I think sometimes they're more extended depending on where you going at and what part of, what part of your purpose you in. I've been in one kind of probably over a year, but I've not been in it reluctant. I've kind of and I've embraced it. Like, I know God wants to say something to me, because this is the thing that we have to our alone seasons are for us to learn not to depend on nobody but God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if we never learn this, we're going to continue to go on the extended winter trips, because we won't take the time to learn that. Whenever this is God. God said he wants to be first.
First.
He didn't say only.
Mm-hmm.
He said first. And so they times that we put people in his spot. And so we go through these winter seasons so we can learn, because they're going to be stuff that people, for example, you'll be talking about something and nobody don't never really understand it, no matter how much you explain it. That's because God wants you to be telling it to him, because he's the one who can understand it, And so what we have to do is we got to learn to embrace it. And whenever you notice that God is not first, you're going to go into a season, and it. We don't when you don't read in the mornings, or you don't take your time to read the Bible, you don't pray, and you don't talk to him throughout the day. You're getting distant. So you're going to be coming into an alone season probably that you don't want to go into. You birthing a season that you don't have to go through, because you won't, you forgetting where he's at. And so we have to learn that in every part. And so even though people are helpful, and I love the people that God has put in my life, I can't let them become before him. I can't, every time I got a problem, I can't run to Anisha. I can't run to Francis and talk to them about my problem every time. There are times I need to go to God, like, God, only you can work this out, and I know it, and I need you. And just, relinquish that time and let you go. Because I can be I love people, but I'm an introvert. Crazy thing, I'm telling you, I love people. I would do what I can to help any and everybody. Even if I don't even like them, I still will help. But what I've learned is that I need alone time to recharge. I need to be by myself, because usually when I'm by myself, I'm able to talk to God much clearer. I ain't got headaches. I ain't worried about what people need, but what God needs from me at that time. And so it helps me to be alone. So I enjoy alone time because it recharges me. But I know we got some more seasons to get into. So I ain't going to go ahead.
You said something about recharging. And I did say I was in the season of winter. But for me, this is, as much as it's been, as painful as it's been, it's also been healing, and a healing experience, and revealing. Mm-hmm. I know that that's very important, because there were some more things that I thought, but I won't say that I thought. Well, there were some more things that I had to be shown, that he had to show me.
Right.
Some more things, some more people, and some more places in my life that he didn't want me to go. So it's been an experience, but I'm grateful for the experience, no matter, just ready for, the next season.
I know that's right.
I'm ready to be out of winter. Thank you, Lord. But okay, when I get fall, can we do some harvesting?
Right.
Sunshiny day of summer or spring. I appreciate that.
And that is too funny. I was That is wow. I
It's true. I know where you at.
it's too funny because I think you said this earlier. For the last few weeks, I've been kind of going through with this caregiving thing, and just been back and forth, really struggling hard, doing the best that I can, but meeting challenges and frustrations, and there was one night I just wanted to reach out to you all, and I was heavy in it, and you call it them vomit sessions. I wanted to vomit bad. Typed up a message. Y'all know I was typed up a whole bunch of stuff, and the Lord was just like, just erase it. And not only that, but I had some other heavy stuff that I was dealing with, and I was like, gosh, I just want to reach out to somebody. But the Lord was like, I'm here for you. I'm here at the altar. And I tell you, it seemed like that night that I just talked to God. I played some music and I was just listening to and I was just worshiping and just listening to God, and I was crying. And of course, my little child come in there. She was like, Mom, you gonna be crying for 2 more days? Passing me tissue. She always come in there with the shade. When I experienced the grief episode, I did cry for about 2 or 3 days. She was like, Mom, you gonna be crying for 2 or 3 days? I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be that long this time. Sometimes, even though we do have, and I know that I could call you all, but sometimes, even though we know we could call people, that it's just between God, because then Tyrone or Anisha or my sister or whoever that I have may become my idol. They're always the person that I'm going to put in that place. And I want to say this: I'll be glad when you come out of your winter season too, best friend. I'll be glad when you come out of your winter season too, because it's been a struggle for me. Because us not talking every day or every other day, or us not seeing each other, like it's been a different thing. And I was like, Tyrone, I ain't used to this.
And that's another thing. I haven't even seen my mom in 3 months.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a struggle for me. Like, I'm ready to come out of winter.
Right.
We gotta go.
Yeah. So not only that, but sometimes and I'm saying this because I feel like we're a little seasoned in the Lord. We know God, and sometimes we have to watch our family and our friends go their alone season and remove ourselves. Now it was hard. I was like, I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna check on her. I know she see me call. But
nope.
But the phone calls and the texts come right in the nick of time, because we had the conversation that we needed to have.
And we can't become God, and God has to do his business, and that's not my job. I'm still best friend though, but yeah,
absolutely. Don't let other best friend hear that though.
Yeah. I ain't even don't world boo, but I'm just thankful that we can recognize when other people are going through seasons in their lives, and when we need to kind of take a step back, that we can step back and allow that person to have that alone time with God.
So what's up, world? It's your boy Tyrone Morgan. I'm coming to you with another episode of the Soul Rehab Podcast. Look, we reached the end. I know that this was getting good and we stopped right in the middle of it, but it is a cliffhanger. How many of y'all remember when Dallas used to come on back in I'm dating myself. But anyhow, when Dallas used to come on, and at the end of the season they had this cliffhanger, so you'll be waiting the whole summer for it to come back on. So that's what this is. But you won't have to wait the whole summer. You just have to wait the next week. So join us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Be there for part 2. and I will see you then. Peace.